Welcome to episode 2 of the Innie Project. This episode is entitled, Are You an Introvert? As I started working on this project, I've come to realize that a lot of folks just don't understand introversion, which leads them to not necessarily identifying as an introvert, even if they are one. So I thought it would be useful to talk about some examples of introvert characteristics and share some assessments to figure out if you are, in fact, an introvert. One of the most common misconceptions is that folks associate introversion with shyness, but introversion really has more to do with energy and preference. Typically, being around a lot of people drains an introvert's energy and leads to feeling overstimulated. Once we feel overstimulated, we need to balance that out by being alone to recharge. On the other hand, extroverts gain energy from being around a lot of people. It's interesting that I am an introvert who prefers small groups or one on one interactions, but somehow I've chosen to work in a field that requires me to be on all the time and interact with lots of people. Folks are often surprised when I say I'm an introvert, mostly because they associate introversion with shyness and or awkwardness. Shyness has to do with insecurity, self-doubt, and fear, which anyone can have. There are shy introverts, but not all introverts are shy. Awkwardness, on the other hand, can arise as a result of overstimulation. Introversion doesn't mean that I can't be social or I can't speak in front of a crowd. It just means that doing so is going to require that I take time to recharge afterwards. New friends will often be surprised that if we go out one weekend, the next weekend I'm absolutely not going anywhere. Recently, I was talking to a friend of mine about this, and he said, I used to know this girl who worked in the music industry and used to go out pretty much every night of the week. I laughed. He was talking about me. I had to think about that for a minute. Why was I able to do that then, but not now? What changed? What I realized is that I was drinking and smoking a lot back then. And because of that, I was able to tolerate interacting with so many people all the time. But I've been sober for many years now, and the thought of going out every night is just unimaginable. My natural state of being is happily at home with my stuff and my cats. I enjoy people, but I need to limit my interactions because my social battery gets low quickly. Engaging in social situations, for me at least, requires preparation. I saw an Instagram video a while back that really sums up what it's like to be an introvert. In the video, there are two guys. One guy says to the other, Hey, a bunch of us are going out for a drink after work. Do you want to join us? And the other guy, who's the introvert, says, I really don't like doing things last minute. The other guy says, okay, that's fine. We go out every week after work, so you could come with us next week. And the introvert says, well, I don't like to plan things in advance. And so the guy's looking at him with a puzzled face. And the introvert shrugs and says something like, yeah, I know, it's complicated. This scenario sounds ridiculous to some, but as an introvert, I felt so seen. I wish I would have saved it because I think it's just the perfect illustration of the introvert's dilemma. If I'm going to do something after work, it's because I knew about it ahead of time. So I could prepare my social battery. I sleep during the weekend, relax, and prepare myself for being out and interacting with people. On the other hand, I don't want to plan things too far in advance either. Years ago, my mother said that she wanted us to have a lunch once a month. And I said no. Whenever I tell people this story, they look at me like I'm nuts. Why would you say no to your mother? The thing is, I don't want to agree to something a month from now. And then when the day comes, I don't feel like it. The other part is if we're in a restaurant, I can't just stand up and walk out when I start to feel overstimulated. I mean, I guess I could, but it probably wouldn't be a good idea. Don't get me wrong, I go out with my family all the time for birthdays, holidays, comedy shows, etc. But there is just something about a monthly social appointment that didn't sit right with me. When it comes to work stuff, I force myself to do whatever needs to be done. But when it comes to my personal time, I prefer to recharge and just be in my house. Extroverts gain energy from interacting with people, so this may be hard for them to understand. Okay, so how do you know if you're an introvert? Well, in Marti Olsen Laney's book, The Introvert Advantage, she provides a quick quiz. I'll read two sets of characteristics based on which list you identify with most. You'll have a better idea if you are an introvert or an extrovert. So here we go. Quality list A. You like to be in the thick of things. You relish variety and are bored with sameness. You know lots of people and consider them friends. You enjoy chit chatting even with strangers. You feel energized after activity and eager for more. You speak or act without needing to think first. You are generally outgoing. You tend to talk more than listen. Okay. Qualities list B. You prefer to relax alone or with a few close friends. You consider only deep relationships as friends. You need rest after outside activities, even ones you enjoy. You often listen, but talk a lot about topics of importance to you. You appear calm, self contained, and like to observe. You tend to think before you speak or act. You experience your mind going blank in groups or under pressure. You don't like feeling rushed. Which list of qualities describes you best? If it's list A, you're extroverted. If it's list B, you're introverted. You probably won't have all the qualities on the list, but one list will fit better than the other. If you want to take a deeper dive, there's a website, 16personalities.com, that has a pretty accurate free assessment. Alternatively, you can take the official Myers-Briggs type indicator test. Either way, the test doesn't define you. It's just another piece of information. I'll leave the links in the description. Good to see you and be seen. Welcome to the Innie Project.